This is John SCHABEN of the Dunlap Livestock Auction, bringing you our market reports from Tuesday, May 5th and Wednesday the 6th. Tuesday, when we sell our fed cattle, weigh cows, weigh bulls. The fed cattle were lightly tested, as they have now been for the last several weeks. 96.5 was our top, both on steers and heifers. I think we had 30 head. Quality was pretty decent. But again, with basically no packer participation and just some of the people that sit in through there and pick away. I mean, we're happy to provide that market. I just wish we could provide a better one. The weight cows, a little different story. That market was fully steady, maybe just a little better. We had 330 weight cows and bulls. Top weight bull at $1. A lot of the bulls in the 90s. That thing's really good. That lean beef is obviously in great demand right now with that hamburger consumption. So they're going to buy that lean product. And I suppose as we get more fat in the marketplaces, unfortunately, we have to keep feeding some of these fed cattle. You'll see a great demand for lean product. Same thing goes for the cows. A good lean cow is worth a little more than a fed cow, and ironically, in that bull meat, they're worth more in a meat than a fed steer is today. Pretty sad, but that's the way we're at. The bulk of those weight cows were from the 53.4 range to 63.4. That gets almost all of them. So if you have a nice lean cow, you're going to get up there around $60. She's got a good weigh up in the kind. Not too bad. It could be a lot better, but when I look back in the fall, when actually our cutouts weren't a lot different than they are today, the cows were sure a bunch cheaper there, and the packers probably, that was more market manipulation than today is with everything else that's going on. And I'm just talking from a weigh cow and weigh bull standpoint. Today was our bred cow, a pair and breeding bull special. Outstanding sale with about 850 total head in the offering. Had an excellent attendance, great activity on the internet today. And folks, when you can always turn into Dunlap Livestock, CattleUSA to watch those auctions, they really got after them. We led off with the Hood Charolais bulls. We averaged just a little over 3,000 on a great set of bulls that come from good people. They also run a meat market up there and do a super job. So it's great to work for them, and they put some really good bulls back in the country around this area. Then we moved into the bred cows and cow-calf pairs and led off a really nice dispersal of a red Angus base set of cows. They kind of be third to eighth calf, but those third, fourth, fifth calf, the young cows, they kind of kicked right off at $2,000 and got the old gates were open and the auction was off and running, and it was really good. And those pairs, they got after really well. We came in next with a load and a half, about 50 real fancy black first calf efforts with nice big stout calves at side. Internet activity on those was really good. Up to 2450 on those pairs. I think they averaged over 2200 with several of them going on the internet. But they're kind of those they're cookie cutters. You can about send them to anybody and they're going to like them. And so easy to buy over the internet. Easy to buy sitting in the ring. They're really good kind. We came back after those with a set of red Angus first calf effort pairs. Really good kind. Disposition's great. You'd like everything about them. Calves are young. And the heifers themselves aren't the biggest heifers you're ever going to see. They'll be nice, acceptable mama cows, but those heifers kind of the pairs traded around $2,000. From there, we went into just other strings of cows and cow-calf pairs. And if they showed pretty good and they were young, you were going to charge them $1,700, $1,800, $1,900. So that thing was active. You're going to get into the Solomon pairs, 14 to kind of 1750, 1800. There weren't very many broken mouth pairs, but just to throw something into perspective, if you brought a 1,400 pound age cow in with a 250 pound calf, they were probably going to split today. I mean, you got a 1,450 pound cow. She's lean, it's going to bring 900 or more. And then if you had a 225 to 50 pound calf, you'd bring $500 a head today. So you'd get those pairs splitting in that $1,400 to $1,500 range. And so that kept that trade honest all day. When we got all done with the cows, we also had a lot of bred cows, or not lots, but several strings of bred cows today, and they really got after them if they were young. 14 to 1,700 on the breds. The solid mouth cows would kind of be 11 to 1,400. Again, not many broken mouths, and not really enough fall cows today, fall bred calving cows to have any kind of a test onto that. We finished up with 25 just open consignment bulls. I think that top bull bring right again 3,000. The activity on the bull trade today was great. And so we appreciate that on the consigned bulls. We'll have another cow special in 2 weeks. That's on May 20th. We've got 150 cows in one deal and a dispersal that are front end kind. That would be Montana's as heifer calves, basically a closed herd, semi-Angus bulls on them. You're going to really, really like the set of cows and calves. And love what they're going to produce. So we're excited about that sale that's coming up in a couple weeks. We'll also have a week from this Friday another calf and yearling special. And folks, if you haven't moved your feeders, if you have something to move, contrary to what's maying around, there's pretty good activity on those feeders. We've been pretty excited about the market with all things considered what we're dealing with here today. Real quick, obviously, with this front end thing in front of us, with these packing plants being down, it's got sickening pressure on the fed cattle. I mean, you have a retail value today. I mean, cutouts have just been shooting up and up and up. I don't know how much it really means because we're not getting anything even close to that. You know, the retail value on a 1,500 pound steer today is $4,500, and we're struggling. We can't get $1. We can't get $1 a pound. We can't get 1,500 for them. So maybe it really isn't applicable today where it's at. Unfortunately, the consumers through this thing, what really drives me crazy. So right now, all the feeders, all the producers, anybody that's selling in the market, we're getting cleaned up. It's bad. We got to decide whether we're even going to be financially viable when it's over with. Here, and when times have happened before, lots of times our consumers take advantage of that with cheap product, and at least it sure make us feel that way. But unfortunately, now with the supply chain all disrupted and the numbers not there, the consumers are going to pay astronomical prices for their meat. Doesn't seem really fair to me. And then who stands out of this thing and it isn't financially finding the harm like everybody else is? It's the packer. And you know, I have a big sympathy for where they're at in relationship to trying to keep their plants open, but in the process, we're trying to keep our financially lives open and functional. So I don't think we're probably going to have to worry about that today in that industry. So hopefully there's a little help coming there. We're going to get some more of these cattle processed, get rid of this backlog, maybe get a chance to get a little bit more for the product. I can look at things to try to find something bright in a very dark market. And today's board obviously gives you some hope. Limit up, and you look off in those far off futures. Next April on the board, I think it's trading up there around $1.12. When I look at it, I look at that August market. It's trading. I think I don't have it in front of me, but $1.56. And there'd be a time in the last year where our August market this year had traded under that. That's pre-fire, I would think, and pre-COVID. So I look at those things and I'm like, well, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And then I look at a producer and I can look at next January twofold, what it could have been or what it says it's going to be now. What it could have been doesn't matter anymore, I guess. I just was thinking we were going to have one of the best years selling calves, maybe since back there in 14 and 15. That's probably away from us. However, for everything we've had to go through, I think that January feeder board's sitting there at 135 or whatever. And from a cow-calf standpoint, and I'm a producer like a lot of you out here, if that's what we have to sell an 825 pound steer for, come January 1st, we'll live through that financially. It will pay our bills. It's not going to put any money in our pocket. We're going to work another year for nothing, which I guess in agriculture we're getting a little more used to, but I don't think it's going to back us up for another year. Puts us one step closer to maybe being on top of the advantage thing from a number standpoint, where instead of taking what these people want to give us, maybe we can start demanding what we want to get for these cattle. So I do think we can look at some positive things. If you're not finding anything at all positive in this market to talk about, give me a call and I'll do my best to tell you at least what I think looks better and at least something to look forward to, instead of looking at everything that's negative in front of us, because it is hard to find anything right here in the short term that's going to make us feel any better. But if we can look out of that and we can figure out a way to financially survive it, then maybe we can take advantage of a system that we've worked so darn hard to create it. And I think about all this money we pay into check off, and I think all that, and one of the reasons we do it is to watch our retail prices go up. I mean, that we're getting more for our product. Well, unfortunately, it didn't work this go around, and I think I've said it before. Right now, the problem with that checkoff is it works. I guess it's working great. The only problem is it wasn't working for anybody that's paying it. And so hopefully we can get that thing changed and turn this whole thing around where it puts it in a little bit of our favor, and quicker would sure be better than later. Any questions or concerns about the market, please give us a call. Again, this is John SCHABEN with the Dunlap Livestock Auction. And once again, thanks to all our customers. That's a buyer, that's a seller. It's a lot of tough buggers that make up this agricultural economy, and we sure appreciate being a small part of it. Thanks a bunch.